Today, there are 2 million descendants of French-Canadian immigrants living in New England. These are our stories. Welcome to the French-Canadian Legacy Podcast.
Venez tous jeunes filles et garçons, je vais vous raconter l'histoire de notre immigration ici au USA, de grands aventuriers de pays étrangers.
This is the French-Canadian Legacy News. I am Jesse Martineau. Now, I want to start this news segment by noting an upcoming performance by José Vachon. So for those who know Mike and I, you guys know that we are huge fans of José Vachon. We obviously use one of her songs as the intro and outro of this very podcast. In fact, it's fun. When I first started the podcast, one of the questions I would get asked most often is, what is that song you use for your intro? And I think the question was right up there with, why don't you do the show in French, as the questions I got most often. But I've seen José perform a number of times, and her shows are always super, super entertaining. She's incredibly talented, incredibly fun. So anybody, if you are in the Orono, Maine area, you might want to check in here. If you're in Orono, Maine, or anywhere near Orono, Maine, do yourself a favor. Check out José Vachon this Friday, May 8th, 1 o'clock p.m. This afternoon, it's an afternoon show being called an afternoon house party and is being held at the Franco-American Center at University of Maine. Seriously, if you are near UMaine, check out this performance. I have another save the date to pass along. And this is on June 24th. Of course, that's a day that's going to be familiar to most of the listeners of this podcast. Saint Jean-Baptiste, Fête Nationale du Québec. It's also the day of a really cool event. It's going to be at the Leominster Public Library, Leominster, Massachusetts. They are hosting an event that sounds incredible. It is being called the Franco-American Writers Program and will feature a list of writers and educators sharing readings from their work. And the list that they've already confirmed they'll be participating is a list of people who will be very familiar to the listeners of this podcast. Presenters are going to include Jean Drouillard, Jean Pouliot, Emily Noel Provost, Stephen Riel, Kathleen Stein-Smith, all names that you should be familiar with from this podcast. All people who are super interesting. This just sounds like a really awesome day that you're not going to want to miss if you get an opportunity to get down to Leominster, Massachusetts on Saint Jean-Baptiste. For the final updates, I want to pass along that the Acadian Village in Van Buren, Maine, we've talked about them a couple of times on these news segments. I'm always trying to hype them. We had a chance to visit them, and I thought they were amazing. Obviously, they made an impression on me. I still talk about them long after I've left. So I follow, kind of what they have going on. And so I wanted to hype the fact that they have announced their schedule of events for their 50th anniversary celebration. So it goes over the course of a long weekend. It'll be next month in June. The event will take place over 3 days, from Friday, June 12th through Sunday, June 14th. These events include things like a tour, mass, some Acadian food, some musical performances, speakers, just a whole lot of things going on over the course of these 3 days. And the schedule is out. And so you can check it out, kind of plan the events, see which ones you want to go to. Or even better, come and check out the entire thing. You've heard me talk about this area before on this podcast. Again, I think it's just incredible. So if you're anywhere near northern Maine, I would definitely recommend checking out this event. Trust me, if it wasn't an 8-hour drive, I would be certainly interested in it myself. Now, this event, talking about Van Buren, Maine, actually is a great lead-in to our upcoming episode. We have spoken quite a bit about Acadian history on this podcast, and this upcoming week we'll be talking about it some more. It is an endlessly fascinating topic, something I knew absolutely nothing about before I started this podcast. And this week we'll be speaking with an Acadian history expert, professional genealogist Nicole Gallant-Nunes. She frequently presents on the topic of Acadian history, so we'll be talking about the day-to-day lives of Acadians, what the lives they lived prior to the expulsion, a little bit about even things like their family dynamics. We'll talk about what life looked like for them after the expulsion. But what I really want to get into with this episode is an incredible project that Nicole is working on. She has spent countless hours looking through every available record in an attempt to identify every Acadian who died in the expulsion. It is a massive project. It is taking years of work. It already has and will continue to take years of work, but it is a very important project to have these people remembered, to have their names so that we can go back and see all of those that did die as a result of the terrible expulsion. And so it's a really, really amazing project. So I was happy to be talking about that. Next week, we'll be speaking about the Acadian Expulsion Memorial List with professional genealogist Nicole Gallant-Nunes. Okay, bonus question time.
Sure.
Now, one thing I noted, you appeared on the French History podcast with Dr. Gary Giraud. That's somebody we've had on
I saw
this
that.
podcast.
I said, "Oh my God, this world is so small." I saw that after, and I said, "They were with him too."
For sure. Now, can you tell us how did that come about? How did you end up with Dr. Gary and that whole experience?
I don't know if he reached out to me or if I reached out to him. I don't even remember, because as I started, it's because I talk to so many people all day, every day. And I came across your podcast. It may have come up because of his name. It came like into my feed, and I was like, ooh, and I had seen you before, but you forget. And I had seen something you had done maybe a year ago or something. I was like, oh my God, I'll reach out to them and just say, hey, because anything you can do to spread the word of the project, right? People are starting to know, because I manage these big groups. They're sharing it and spreading it. And I just did a presentation a couple of weeks ago, most recently for the Orange County library system in Florida. That was the link that I sent to you. A lot of people couldn't make it, but 150 people signed up for that in the middle of a work day. I'm like, oh boy. And everyone's like, oh, I can't make it. Can you make a recording? And I said, sure. So now that's being spread around. So now people are hearing about this project and they want to kind of know about it. But he was fantastic. And I just kind of gave him just a basic breakdown of the Acadians and why they're important. And yeah, he was great.
Yeah. And one name that came up in that conversation that I did not expect to hear.
Beyonce?
What is that? How is that? You have to make that connection for me here. Make sure that our audience finds out. Why did that name come up in a discussion of Acadians?
We love finding cousins, okay?
Sure.
You know this as a French Canadian, you know that we love finding shared roots with people. So I found out about Bay forever ago. There's this site, I don't even know if it's still in operation. It was forever ago, famouskin.com or something, I want to say. And so they show you the genealogy of all these famous people, like Johnny Appleseed, the first guy,
sure.
presidents, musicians, poets, authors, all of these movie stars, famous people, whatever. And so she was on there and I was like, ooh, so we're connected on the Acadian side and we're connected on the Quebecois side. So she's a double cousin. So Beyonce, hey, how's it going? So many of them, like Celine Dion, of course. Well, Justin Bieber's on there. Madonna.
Right. I knew about that.
Call me up. But yeah, so it's all these people that you can kind of figure out your roots to, because we all come from the same early settlers. All those early families married and it just funneled down. I always joke that it's like a wreath instead of a tree. We all just, it's we're all just down to here and then all connected on the same way back.
Well, that just suggests to me that she needs to be a guest of the French Canadian Legacy podcast at some point.
There you go.
I don't understand.
She's a cousin. It's for family.
I can't understand how she would possibly turn that down.
No, it's so fun. And it's all of them. It's just amazing. You see all these connections and it's multiple times over. It's just amazing how different all of our lives went, but we have the same roots, the same history, which is really cool.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you again for talking with us.
Of course. I had a great time.
Now our fathers look at us and sigh with despair, to think that everything they love we simply do not share. But the spirit never dies, our culture will survive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive. Each of us must choose how much to keep alive.
Special thanks to Josie Vachon for providing the music. You can find more about her at josievachon.com. This podcast was produced and edited by Mike Campbell. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at fclpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FCL Podcast for more information about the topics discussed. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this episode.